This is Coosa Christian football server coach Rush Propst. Coach, thanks for taking time to be with us. Thursday game this week. Actually, the next 3 weeks will be Thursday games. How does that change up what you do on a weekly basis?
Well, it just makes Sunday more important from a standpoint. Normally, Sunday on a Friday game has just been delegated to or regulated to just film from Friday night and weight room and some conditioning. Uh, Usually, the game plan is not put in till Monday. So, when you play on Thursday, the game plan has to be in by Sunday. At least 75% of it has to be. So,
Yeah.
because really Sunday's a Monday practice. So it has to be a full day of practice, and it has to be because really when you look at it, Wednesday is a walkthrough like today. Tuesday's a lighter day, so Sunday, Monday are your two heavy days in preparation for the game on Thursday. And for the next 3 weeks, that's the way it's going to fall. I tend to like it for a lot of reasons. One, I like the long weekends for rest. I know people say, well, you're going on Sunday, but you get all day Friday off. You get all day Saturday off. I think the body heals a little better. Because we still come in on Sundays
Yeah, yeah,
for a Friday game.
that's right.
So you get that extra day of rest and an extra day away from football. And sometimes late in the year, that can help you mentally from a psychological standpoint.
Sure.
And then I think the other thing, too, is it gives us the ability to scout some, too,
Yeah.
to see sort of how the playoff is going to shake out. And we know we're in the playoffs, but we don't know the seeding yet. And so I think the next couple of weeks will sort of, I think with Cleveland tomorrow night and then next week at Cold Springs, um, will those two games will determine where we sit in seeding
Hmm.
going into the playoffs.
Well, let's take it back before we get into that, and let's talk a little bit about this past week's game. What a you just look at Blunt's record hurling out there good. That's a very good football team.
Very
Very
good,
good football.
very good. I thought Blunt came in with a purpose. I think they needed to win the game.
Yeah.
I think the travel probably bothered them a little bit.
Hmm.
I think they sort of lost a little focus at times. But Coach Nelson is a really good coach. He's a good friend of mine. Or not a good friend of mine, but he played for me in the 2001 All Star game. He was my quarterback.
Yeah.
I got the years messed up, believe it or not. I thought it was '04. He actually said, "Coach, you don't remember we had Cadillac?" I said, "How can I forget that?" And so, anyway, it was a game, when he played for me that was a lot of fun, and he played really well that game. But getting to more important things, I thought Blunt came in with a purpose. I think he had them ready to play and as best he can. I think when they pulled up at the stadium, you look at a small stadium like ours, they've been playing at Ladd Stadium that holds 41,000. Pritchett Stadium holds 15,000. A lot of those stadiums in Mobile are bigger stadiums that Viger and Blunt play in and around. Um, so that on grass, a lot of those coaches told me this first time those kids have been on grass ever,
Really?
had never been on grass.
Wow.
So
Wow. I
I
didn't
think
realize
that
that.
yes, and so the grass and the field was a little damp, so from the rain, and I think that that was an advantage for us also as the game went on. The field sort of got chewed up. Traction was a little bit tough. They fumbled a punt, I think, because of it. There were some other issues they had in footing that I think benefited us. So, but at the same time, they had a really good offensive lineman in 75 that's been offered by everybody. The running backs, I felt for them, especially number 8, ran very hard. But you could tell the quarterback was a freshman. He made some freshman mistakes
Yeah.
and some throws that he probably would make next year, the year after, that he didn't make Friday night. Thank goodness. But it was a huge win. I don't know if people understand how big a win that was for us. It was a big win for us.
No doubt. In a 6A team that's a very good historically, one of the top teams around, and you're looking for victories to hang your hat on. And speaking of your 300th victory, coach, that's pretty special, I would think.
Well, I've done it twice, so
Yeah, yeah.
so I did
This
it
one
back.
sticks.
This one sticks. Back in 2020 against Lovejoy, first round of playoffs when I was about Oxford, that got taken away. So I'm glad I did it at Coosa. Means a lot. It really does mean a lot. I think a lot of people have got to be given credit. Players, assistant coaches, administration. I've had several superintendents to reach out, several coaches have reached out, several college coaches have reached out. And it's an accomplishment only held by 6 other men in the state of Alabama. So I think when you look at that, you get Danny Horn and Paul Benefield up there battling at three in the 360s.
Yeah.
Then you got Terry Curtis and Buddy Anderson that Terry finished at 361, Buddy finished at 345. Coach Riggs, Coach O'Shields, and Glenn Daniels at Laverne, I think is 302. So it's an important victory, a milestone. People that say any different are lying to you. I mean, it's all people look at it and try to downplay it, but there's not one coach out there that didn't take a sigh of relief when you get to that plateau. Very few get to. So very important. And but that's only a milestone for me. The biggest milestone, like I told our players, is what we do on December 5th. And what do we do to get to December 5th for this group of seniors that desperately need to be a state champion? So we got a lot of water that's got to come under that bridge, so to speak, over the next 9 weeks, and a lot of important football games to be played, and a lot of football to be really for it to play out. And I think with us going forward, this game was big because, and I said this earlier today, if we'd have lost that game, I think there'd have been a little bit of seed of doubt planning that we couldn't win a big ball game because we'd lost to Pierce, which we could have won. We should have beaten Pell City
without question.
Without question.
Yep.
And now this. So, and then there's another one down the road. I mean, people are going to overlook Cold Springs, but that could very well, if we do what we're supposed to do tomorrow night, and go play like we're supposed to play championship football, then it sets up next week. So it could be for the region championship because Cold Springs is playing really good football. They're going to be 6-1. Chances are they win Friday night. They're going to be 6-1 when we go to their place next week. So you got that game. You got West End at senior night, and then you got TA down there, and they're ranked in the top 10. So we got some important games coming up that I feel like can gel this team together. But I really believe that was the first step of it is beating Blunt, and we got it done. So now let's move to the next chapter.
And TA's quarterback's the top quarterback in 2A football right now as far as yards and whatnot.
Good player.
Couple comments here. Jeff says he's missing us and he'll hope to see us back next week. He's living the hard life on the golf course.
I don't think we'll let Jeff come back. I think we just tell him to stay in Montgomery. I mean, you got to have your priorities right, Jeff. Lord mercy.
He's like, y'all are too busy working. He's going to have fun for the rest of us. Rush has always hit the driver. That's what Rush has, hit the driver. Daniel Harper says was watching a high school show out in Mobile Friday night, and they were raving about the Coosa, how impressive it was. So that's good, Daniel.
That's good information.
So what about, we've yet to play a whole game, right? Let's break down some of the improvements that you saw from Friday night.
Well, we yet to have a full practice. I mean, there's times in practice that we don't finish very well in practice, and there'll be lulls up and down in practice. Yeah. And so I tell the kids all the time, Jerry, that you're gonna play like you practice. Mm-hmm. And so if you have lulls in practice, and I get we're tired. I get that it's tough being a two-way player. I get it's tough to run out there on special teams and to do everything you got to do. Yeah. And then the film watching and all the weightlifting and everything that you're doing and keep your academics in order. What I tell the kids all the time, there's not much time for social life. You need rest. You need nutrition. You need to be focused because they only give one trophy. I think that's where this is not travel baseball. Yeah. Travel baseball seems like everybody gets a trophy. And and people wear a ring. They went with 4 teams in the whole tournament, and they get a ring and a trophy. In football, high school football, it is one team out of the 70 or 80 2A schools in this state. I think it's very competitive. Sure. And there's a lot of teams down and around this state that want to be state champion. And it will boil down to who wants it the most and who does the small things that allow us to be good enough to be state champion. And that starts with getting proper rest, proper nutrition, practicing better, making sure you don't make the same mistakes that you made the week before or the day before in practice. And, just now getting our video equipment up and running like it needs to be, which has been a terrible way to try to practice when you can't see what you're doing in practice.
Yeah.
But we've got that new fixed, and thanks to one of our parents that helped provide a drone for us, and I'm very appreciative to him and his family for doing that. And so we get our other drone fixed here pretty soon, and we'll have better angles in practice because the key to it is not just a pulling a tape. That's what people don't understand. It's about practice tape. It's looking at your practice and seeing how to improve each day from practice. That's going forward, especially starting this Sunday. We will start having a better um, template organization of how we are going to get ready for practice. And then once we get through with practice, how we finish that day as staff and getting our kids and our plan ready for the next day. So it's getting close, getting time to get into that mode of late October, November football, which is a little bit different than August or September football.
I want to talk about one play from that game. I thought when Jeff and I were calling the game, we kind of circled it as being one of the key plays of the game was the Mac Long touchdown run.
Mm-hmm.
That play was impressive from how he read it, from the blocking. Just walk us through that play.
Well, we're in spread. We're in empty, which is no backs in the backfield. So they have to adjust to empty, and they have to make a decision where they want to play 5 in the box, 6 in the box, or 4 in the box, or whatever. So when we saw them line up, they were deficient back to that side or to the two-man side. So we motioned the back into the backfield fast and snapped the football before they could make an adjustment.
Yeah.
So they got a secondary guy moving, which was a benefit to us. And then we ran zone read, which he's reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. Well, the end took the dive.
Yeah.
He squeezed like he was supposed to take the dive. They didn't have a Q player, which has to come from a third level fit. And so their third level fit, because of the motion back in the backfield, was messed up, and they didn't fit it right, which allowed Mac to read it, pull it, yank it, and they got nobody there. So Mac took it and went house on them, and he can run.
He can.
Mac can run, and I think the zone read. There's zone read, there's zone minus, there's zone plus, there's all kinds of zone inserts that we've got in our offensive package that I really believe down the stretch run that our zone read will be a big part of our offense because we do have a quarterback that can run the football. Now, there's a downside to that is how much do you run him?
Yes.
That's a huge factor because when you start running your quarterback and he becomes your primary runner, people start scheming for that.
Right.
And it puts him in harm's way from an injury standpoint that we're trying to stay out of, which he got gimpy the other night.
He did.
And so he's a 10th grader. We need to not forget that. And that's me. I'm talking to myself and Alaric, is that we've got to be smart there too. So to make sure he's protected as best we can protect our quarterback. And that way, because if he goes down, we got to get in the Wildcat. And so, I don't want to do that. Although we've been successful in it this year, I don't want to be in it all the time. So I think we're also developing, Jerry, our left-handed way of winning games, and that's being able to throw the football. Mm-hmm. And if you can have a two-headed monster in your attack, because here's what you want. You want to be able to run the ball in the box because there are big nights that it's rainy, windy, sloppy, terrible field conditions. So you better be able to have the ability to run an A, B, and C gap. Then you want to have to be able to run and get the ball on the perimeter to your athletes, Kylan, LJ, Grayson, Malone, and even Palmer.
Yeah.
And Carson Reed now. And even the Keener boy is going to start giving us reps along with Cooper. So right now, for the first time in practice yesterday, we were repping 2 Z's, 2 H's, 2 X's, 2 Y's, and 2 F's.
That's a luxury.
So it is a luxury. Now the problem is we're not repping no linemen.
Sure. Okay.
And so,
that's fact.
I mean, yes, Jaquan and Nick Nunn had good days yesterday. Very pleased with them. So we're starting to develop some depth. And I think these next 3 weeks we need to do that along with win football games and improve. But I think in the third way, going back to finishing my thought, outside you were able to get the ball like we did against Susan Moore. We got the ball on the perimeter. They made people miss and went house on them. Got to be able to throw the ball downfield. be consistent in throwing the ball downfield, going through read progression. And it's like me and Mac will go to what I call quarterback lab tonight, and we will sit it's not on campus. It's over where close to where I live at the Create Center. We've developed a place there that me and Mac can sit down and go through concepts, read progressions, check downs, all those things that are important for a quarterback to know. And once we can perfect that, Jerry, and we have that three-headed monster,
Yeah.
then offensively it's hard to stop people.
You know, you got a couple players. I think it's going to be awesome. Cooper Coley is getting valuable reps. Some
Yep.
of those guys getting valuable
Yep.
reps. But you got one player that's built like a tank. Joseph East.
Oh yeah.
You talk about, I don't care what situation's in, and that kid is always smiling, coach. Talk about him a little bit. Max, I was talking to Max's dad today, and he called him Togo. I just laughed because I never thought about that. That's Togo, man. It's so good to have him, but he's such a. You've coached a lot of good kids in your life,
Yeah.
right? You coached some kids that wasn't good kids. Let's
That's
be
right.
honest, they're everywhere.
That's right. Everywhere.
Joseph is a good kid.
Great kid, man. Great kid. Great story. It's a
Yeah.
great story of humanity. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a great story, and I think I applaud Dwayne and his wife,
More his wife.
and
Let's be fair.
yep, and I think anybody that's had any responsibility of having him here with us in our church family and our school family, I think is to be commended. But he's a big part of our offense because now what he can do is he can pound the rock right at you.
Yeah.
We're trying to get him to where he understands check downs, understands how to catch the ball out of the backfield, and be involved in protection and knowing if they blitz a linebacker, an inside backer, that he has to have that responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great clip of Jam Miller this past weekend against Georgia,
I saw it.
where he took on that linebacker in
Yep.
a blitz. It was a Louis call Max right, where the center has the right backer,
Mm-hmm.
the back's got the left backer. They sent the left backer, and Jam Miller met him at the line of scrimmage in the A gap and stoned him. And then, of course, the quarterback for Alabama, Ty Simpson, hit a big receiver downfield on a big play. I think that is what we ask out of our running backs. Carson struggles with it right now because he hadn't done it a lot. Kylan knows about how to do it. We will work that today. I mean, today is the day we worked our scramble drill on Sunday. Monday. We worked scramble drill, worked 2-minute drill, and yesterday we had a full office good day. We'll go back today and work our check downs and our swing balls out of the backfield and protection. That's important for us to make sure that's done today to give us the diversity we need offensively. But yeah, he is a kid that if he can get better in the other two areas, which is protection and catching the ball out of the backfield, then I think we can. I think we'll be a better football team. I do.
Let's hit some questions, even the silly ones, Coach. One of
Okay.
your coaches, Brody Badgett, wants to know when can he start calling plays?
Yeah, so sometimes he may be better than us. So calling plays is
It's not Madden.
it's not Madden and it's not an exact science. I
Sure.
mean, we try to minimize the damage by scripting and having a good idea of what we're going to do when we get
Yeah.
out there. But sometimes you don't always have to script. But in most big games that I've been in over my career, especially in the last 20 something years, I think scripted the first 10 to 15 have been very advantageous to us over the years. And it just puts you, it takes a lot of work to do it, but it takes a lot of pressure off of you. And then you sort of get into the game and feel the game, and then it makes the game come to you better. And there's really nobody that don't do it, that knows what they're doing.
Well,
So
I'm not sure Hugh's doing it down in Auburn.
I think he is. I just think his script's wrong. I think that
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll
he's,
give you that.
I know he's doing it because I see his play sheet and how he's calling it. Now he has an either or. Probably what he's doing some that and a lot of times people don't realize this. And I don't want to get down in that weeds too much on it, but a lot of times you don't see that from the inside.
Yeah.
Coach Saban, and I used to go to Alabama's practices back in 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and I would spend playoff weeks with him. Once we were done, I would go to their semifinal and final week, and I would sort of be the eyes on the offensive side, and he would ask me questions after practice of what I thought because I was a new set of eyes that hadn't been there.
Yep, I like
And
that.
and so I used to bring people in too that would look at us come playoff time. I would bring coaches in for that week to get a better idea of what they think. And a lot of times as a staff, you just go, duh, why didn't I think of that? But I think a lot of it is new set of eyes, a different mindset, mind thought sometimes can help you. And I think Hugh could use that right now. I think that their
Yeah.
offense has become a little bit lethargic in some of the things they're doing. And I think someone coming in and sitting down with him and saying, hey, look, this is what I saw at practice today. This is what I think would help you better, or help you be a better offensive football team. I think that's where Auburn is right now. I
Yeah.
think they got talent.
Sure.
I think they got talent. I just think they got to have a new set of eyes or a different set of eyes that can help them that maybe's not been down there right now.
You think it's a time that it could be time for Coach Freeze to give up play calling duties and focus just on being the CEO? You got two guys down there that are labeled offensive guys, right? And neither one are calling the plays. Hugh's calling the plays, but at some point, I know how tough was it for you to give up total play calling?
It's tough, but at times you need to. And it's like right now, I'm gonna let Larry call it because I think he's doing a good job. And then he and I work so closely together.
Sure.
We had that little bump in the road, but since then things have worked really good. And he's been really, really good of being able to sit down with me and us sort of work things to our advantage. And I think that a lot of times the head coach has a hard time. Now look, we won 7 titles.
8 counting the national championship.
Three times I called it. I called every play with help.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's 4 times I didn't call it and we won it. So I think I'm better not calling it. I'm better at not calling it and being able to sit back and watch and see things and write. You see me writing down stuff all the time, and I'm planning for down the road. So when the defense is on the field, Eric and I are taught, and we'll script a couple plays, a couple thoughts, and it's worked really good here lately. So
good.
I think that's the best way to do it, as far as I'm concerned. Now Hughes there, he would have to have extreme confidence in the guy that's calling the plays. And I don't know. I know Hugh has called the plays before, and he's done a real good job at other places he's been. So we'll see how that goes down the road. But I'm making one prediction.
Okay.
I think Auburn beats Georgia week after next. I think you'll see Auburn.
Who's going to be the quarterback?
I don't know that because I'm not down there, but I do believe Auburn beats Georgia. Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday.
You coached a lot of quarterbacks, and Jackson Arnold. I try to watch every snap of the Auburn game since I'm the Auburn guy on our Alabama Auburn show. It's like he's scared to throw an interception, so he just don't throw the ball.
He's probably been told. He's probably been drilled in his head so much. Don't throw it. Don't throw it. Don't throw it. That it's affecting his ability to be a gunslinger.
Yeah, and that's why he was always successful.
Yeah.
Let's get to a couple questions here, Coach. Let's see. This one coming from a very prestigious person, Jeff Underwood at the golf course. Hey, when you have a team with this much potential, what do you tell your players about handling pressure and high expectations at the same time?
Just don't read. Just don't read journalists that are not at your practice and they don't have really a good sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
You have to block out the noise, and it's hard for kids to do that. Because they believe everything they read on the internet or everything that's on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or all the other messes out there. But, it takes a special person to block all that noise out. But, I've had teams that were able to do that. And I've had teams that couldn't do that. In 18, we're the best team in the country, probably.
No question.
And we lost the state championship game because our kids bought in to some of the things that they were saying about us playing St. Francis for the national championship, and we still had a state championship game to play. Well, they didn't handle that very well. And we go up there and lay an egg and don't play very good. And, after being 14-0 and having 12 of 14 games, we had a running clock.
That's
That was
crazy.
only 2 games that we were challenged. The semifinal against Archer and Grayson at Grayson, who had a dang good football team.
Always do.
So, but when we got in the championship game and they saw Milton, they said, who is Milton? Mentality. And yeah, we found out who Milton was
Yeah.
at the end of the game when we lost 14-13. So for our team at Coosa, we have to understand it's not about who we play, it's about us and how we stay focused and how we have a goal in mind and how we block out the noise and how we improve and understand that we have not arrived yet. You shouldn't arrive until December the 5th.
Yeah, this kind of go hand in hand. Daniel Harper has a comment that kind of goes hand in hand. He's asking a question. He said he couldn't imagine having your kids around, doing the two-a-day shows and those things. How were you able to have that team focus or those teams focused, 15 to 18-year-old kids on the TV show and trying to win championship football?
In 15, excuse me, in 05, the first year we did MTV two-a-days, I thought it helped us because we had already won 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to tell them? 4 in a row?
Okay.
So, it was hard to set a narrative because I'd always set a narrative like focus, repeat, three-peat. It's hard to sit there and come back and say, okay, guys, we've three-peated, which is a rare, rare deal. Let's four-peat.
Yeah.
And everybody get excited about it. Well, we didn't. So we went around a couple of months trying to find some identity, and then here comes the film crew and MTV wanting to do it, and I said yes because I felt like it could motivate us, and it did motivate us. It really did. I think that's the best year of football that we played it. We were dominant in 05. We opened up with Nice. They had 14 Division I players on that team. You had Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow's team, yeah.
There was a documentary. ESPN2 was doing a documentary on Tim. We were under the light, and then we were on ESPN, the first high school game in the main station that was played, and there were more mics on kids and coaches, and more mics for that game than there were for the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
And so it was crazy, and so I felt like it helped us that year. In 06, when we were preseason ranked number 1 by every poll, and we were loaded. We were freaking loaded with players. I don't think we handled it very well. And so I think it hurt us. I thought our kids, because we had so many kids that were Division I SEC players, we thought we could just show up and walk right through it. And we went 13-2 and we lost state championship. We lost to Prattville and Gainesville had a really good team. They had a great team. And but we had gotten lethargic. Like there were 33,000 people in the state championship game. I think we had 10. I think Prattville had 23. So we just didn't have that same, that same fire. And I think a lot of the two-a-day stuff hurt us in 06. So,
Both ways. Yeah.
In both ways. I think when we went to Titletown in Valdosta, I thought it helped us.
That was a good show.
No, it was a good show. I thought it helped our football team because they had sort of struggled for a few years, and I feel like the Titletown deal got us motivated to go play. So I think it's good and bad, but for the most part, it promotes high school football.
Yeah.
It's reality. It's real reality, and I think that, a lot of people want to placate it to let's keep everything sort of covered up. I don't believe that. I think, if it's happening, it should be on tape.
Yeah.
And look, if you're doing something wrong or bad, then you should not be doing that and hiding and covering it up.
Amen to that.
You should never hide what you're doing, ever. You should put it out there, and as a coach and administration, you should want your product and how your kids and coaches and faculty and students and how they behave when the lights are on. When the lights are off and you can hide it, we don't want that out there. We don't want that out there because it's bad. Well, then clean it up.
Pastor Jason Ellen's going to use this in his next deacons meeting.
Clean it up. And I think that's a lot of our problems in our country anyway. So,
amen to that.
And I think that you gotta promote your school, your kids, your coaches, the mission in which you're out there trying to put out into the public. And so for us, and I'm not sitting there saying we're going to have MTV come in here to Coosa. All I'm saying is
That's the headline I'm putting out.
we have a good school ran by a really good principal, and
Fantastic.
Jim's great, and we've got good leadership. And I'm telling you, the school, our teachers and faculty do a phenomenal job with our kids, all the way down from elementary to high school. That's where my grandchildren are going to go to school. So look, I have plenty of options, but I'm impressed with what's going on inside that school building.
Let me throw this one at you. We talked a little bit about Joseph East and what he does. I'm going to talk about a guy that's kind of a Swiss Army knife for us, and that's Cade Mickler. The kid is. I don't know what jersey number he's going to be in, what position he's going to be playing, offensive line, linebacker, running back. Let's just talk about Mick just for a little bit.
He's a physical kid, hard nosed, tough.
Yeah.
He's a throwback, is what he
Yes.
is. He's a throwback to what it was in the 80s and 90s. He's the kind of player you look for, and as they say in a bar fight, he's just tough, man. You want him in a foxhole.
Yeah.
And my son came to a game, the one that's the Army Ranger,
Yeah.
or has the Army Ranger tab, and he's stationed in California. He said, Dad, after the game, the very first person he recognized was Mifflin. He said, that kid right there reminds me of some of you guys, some of them tough kids
Yeah.
that you had at Hoover and in Mobile, or not Mobile, but in Georgia.
Yeah.
And so, and he is. He may not be the fastest guy in the world. He's not slow. He's just not a blazer. You know what he is, really? If we were at a big school, he would be probably either true Mike backer or he'd be a fullback.
Okay.
A true fullback, because we got some things down the road that we're going to use him for, and I think can help us. But no, I think he's very versatile. He can catch the ball, he can run
Great hands.
routes, he
Yep.
can block, he can play line, he can play a lot of things. But I think in the real world, I think he's a true Mike backer, or he's a true what I call a sniffer. In today's world, he's a sniffer.
Yeah.
In the old days, he would be a true fullback.
Let's move on just a little bit, Coach. I know you got to get out of here, trying to get ready for a game tomorrow. Excuse me. I want people to hear it from you how important how much you push education. I've heard as much communications from you on education and these kids being sure they're doing the work and doing the right things, and I have football over the years. And I don't think you get enough credit for pushing the academic side of the student athlete.
Well, I think the thing you got to understand is that I think we get caught up in this cloud of football, and if we paint a picture that it's football only, then you're going to be disappointed in the end.
Right.
Is that I've not had many kids. To be honest with you, I'm proud of the fact, my wife is too, that 90% of the players that we've had that are college player material. Now, there's 263 of them that I've had to go and play college football. A lot of them, large percentage of that's for Division One. I'm not counting the walk-ons. I'm talking about kids who've actually put their name on a dotted line. Now, that's over a 30-year period, but I think what makes me proud is most of those kids were academically eligible. I don't want to see, and I've seen it,
Yeah.
where a kid is disappointed at the end because he's a good athlete but a terrible student.
Mm-hmm.
You must, as a football coach, prevent that. I've heard coaches say, well, it's not my job to make sure his homework's done. Yes, it is your job. It is your job as a football coach. If there's any coaches out there listening, it is your job. It's your job to check their academics and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do in the classroom. Because I don't want that kid's mother and daddy coming to me on signing day and going, why can't my son sign because he don't have the academics? I've seen that before.
Yeah.
And I am fearful of that. And it scares me to death. So in the long run, academically, you have to put that first. We have a school that makes sure you're collegiately or college ready. So take advantage of that. We have a great school here. Take advantage of that because you will be eligible and you will do better in college if you're doing what you're supposed to with the teachers that we have here at Coosa. Bottom line. So that's important. And again, you can't paint a picture that it's all football. It has to be academics.
Yeah, thanks for that, because I don't think you get enough credit for that. Hey, thanks to all of our sponsors as well. Hey, when you go to Picnic at River Rock Landing, ask for the Propst patty. I hear it's pretty good. Hey, Coach, anything in closing before we get you out of here today?
No, not much. I think
Yeah,
that I just think I want everybody to understand and realize we've got two away games on Thursday nights that are tough games. I think we're coming off a pretty emotional, physical ball game this past week. So going to Cleveland can be difficult if we're not mentally ready to go, and I hope our parents understand that. And then next week, Cold Springs is leading the state in scoring.
yeah.
They're going to be 6-1. It's over there again on a Thursday night, and then we come home for senior night, and our last regular season game for these seniors that have been through so much. So these next 3 weeks are very important. Then we get to the most important part of the season is we got TA down there.
Yeah.
Then we're open, which we'll need, and then it's playoff time.
Heck
So
yeah.
we're getting close. We're getting close.
And that West End game, senior night, we're also going to be recognizing Mayor Joe Taylor, the mayor of Rainbow City, who is the official mayor of Coosa Christian School. Hey, thank you to all of our sponsors. We appreciate you so much. To get airtime tomorrow will be 6:45 on the YouTube channel, Capel Media YouTube channel. And do not forget, um, reach out to these kids, these coaches, tell them how much you appreciate them, urge them on. And as always,